everyone. I don't know if
Alaikum
everyone's
salam.
muted. Are you all muted? Can't tell.
Hello.
Hi. I don't think it's working. Just a minute.
They're not muted, so some have muted themselves and some haven't.
Okay, that's fine. No worries. That's fine. Just checking. Okay. Welcome to the class. We did one last week on makeup and we're doing hijab training today. I decided to do a class on how to do your own hijab rather than doing it on somebody else, because 9 times out of 10 you're going to be doing your own scarf anyway. So I thought instead of me showing you how to do it on a model, I'll show you how to do it myself. If there's anything that I cover and you think, oh, I'm not quite sure on that or I've done it wrong, can you just please just alert me and I will do it again for you. If I go too fast, just slow me down and I'll repeat it for you if you want me to. And if there's anything that somebody's unsure of, just stop me mid-class and just tell me, because it rather...
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
I can.
How about now? How about now?
Yeah.
1 second.
Yeah,
Can everyone hear me?
I can hear you. Sorry.
Yeah, that's fine.
Everyone hear me now? Yeah?
Yes.
All right, brilliant.
Yes.
Okay. So the first one, this is robotic voice saying yes to me. I love it. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a couple of tricks and trips that I use to try and make sure that the scarf stays on. So it's all right saying that you're wearing a scarf and putting it on your head, but you do want it to stay in place all day. So you don't want it to be that you've left the house and then next thing you know it's all falling off, especially if you've gone to an occasion or if you've gone to a wedding or something like that. You do want to make sure that it stays on well. So what I tend to do is do lots of securing underneath the scarf before I even start. So I'm going to show you what I do underneath and then I'll show you how to style over the top of it. So I'll just take mine off. You'll have to forgive my hair because there was no time to do my hair for you today. It's been a bit of a busy one. So generally, I usually say to wear something underneath your scarf, such as one of these undercaps that you get, which has like a tying thing at the back of it. You've probably seen these, or one of those other ones that you get, which is like a tube. The reason I say to do that is that unless you wear one of these, there's nothing for the scarf to grip onto. So if you're wearing a scarf that is sort of quite slippy, so this is a chiffon scarf, by having cotton underneath it, it will just give it something to grip onto. Now, generally, our hair is quite silky, so when you're putting a scarf on and it's sort of adhering to a silky hair, it'll probably fall off faster. So it makes sense to put something underneath so the cotton helps it to sort of create a friction to keep it in place. If you're uncomfortable like myself, because I don't like wearing doggies because I feel like it makes my head hurt or it gives me headaches. So what I do is instead of wearing one of these, I generally wear like a cotton Alice band. So it's like a sports band. And all that does, it just sits around your head like so. You can put all your little hairs in from the behind as well, and then from the front too. So it just keeps all the hair in place, stops all those sneaky ones coming out, and it just gives you a base to work from for your hair. So that's what I tend to wear. If you are partial to wearing these are a little bit more secure. I'll just show you how that goes on. So I put mine on before anything else goes on. So just popping it onto your head like that. Pull my hair out of the way. And the good thing about these is you can have them as tight or as loose as you want. So if you're one of these that struggles with like a tightness around your head or your head gets really hot, then you could actually just do it a little bit looser. It just keeps it in place. If you like it tighter, then you can tighten it a bit more. Now, one of the reasons people get a headache with these hats is because of how tight you've got it around your ears. So one of the things to stop yourself doing that is just to kind of pop your ears out, and I'm going to look really silly, but if you pop your ears out from behind it, then it's very unlikely that you'll get a headache. So that's one of the tricks that you can use to make sure that you don't get a headache by wearing these hats. Does anybody actually get a headache from wearing them?
No.
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah, a lot of people do complain about that. It's one of the reasons people don't wear a scarf, believe it or not. So we need to find ways around it, don't we? What you also can do is if you're wearing your hat like this, if you get a couple of grip pins, so these are just standard grip pins that you'd use for your hair, and you pop them in just at the side behind the ear. And what that does is it stops your hat slipping backwards. So it's all right saying it's nice and tight here, but you don't want it to slip backwards and sort of like, you know, sort of migrate towards the back of your head. So that will just help to keep it in place just under there. Okay, so once you've done that, I like to create just a tiny little bit of volume at the back of my head. I don't do it for the fashion aspect. I do it because it helps me keep my scarf on. So I just feel like by just having a little bit extra in the back there, unless you've got a really long, thick hair that you can create a nice round bun, it just helps to have that little bit of volume just to make it a little bit more secure. So I use one of these ruffles. I think you've all probably seen one of these. My kids call it a spider. So I use this one. It's like a velvet sort of feel to it, and you can mold it as well, so you can make it bigger and smaller. And I pop that in just at the back there on top of my bun. Now, generally, I always say go below head level because that's more aesthetically pleasing than having it any higher. So you're sort of going below your head level. And then if you feel like it's still too big and there's too much volume for you personally, then you can get little grip pins and tuck little bits of it in just to create a smaller space. Not a lot of hijab wearing ladies like their bump at the back to be too big. For religious reasons, and to be honest, it doesn't look right either. So it makes sense to do it. Another thing that people use to create that volume at the back is one of these volume clips. It comes on a little clamp, and you can clamp that in on top of your bun. So that's another alternative. These generally are bigger than this one, so that's a perfect personal preference as to how you like to wear it. But the one I've got on is smaller, so it's just a bit more neater, and it doesn't make a silly noise as well. So it kind of like the other one's sort of like quite roughly. This one's nice and neat. Okay, so that's how I secure my hat to my head. The only one thing I've forgotten to do is I get a small tacking pin, just a normal standard dressmaker pin, and I tack just the top of my topi to my hair as well, just so it gives that extra little bit of security that it's not going anywhere. I always feel as if
Goodbye, take care.
if your hat
Goodbye,
stays
take
on,
care.
oh, somebody's leaving us, I think. If the hat's on like quite secure, I feel like the scarf will stay on better as well. Okay, right, let's do some scarf styling now. So the first style I'm going to show you is a pretty simple one that you can do for your everyday. It's easily achievable in any hijab fabrics. So if you've got chiffon, which is what I've got in front of me, or silk or cotton or anything, you can do it in more styles. So quite a versatile one to do. What I'm going to do with the scarf is pop it on my head, sort of half and half. So I've got half there and half on this side, roughly. You don't need to measure it as long as it's half right. And then I'm just going to fold the raw edge in. So this edge here, I'm just going to fold maybe about 6 or 7 inches in, just to create a nice nice fold there. Okay. Once you've got that on your head, it's just about creating the frame around your face. So a lot of the times girls tend to wear their scarves quite far in, so sort of like that, and then covering a lot of their face up. But it's a real shame because you're covering up so much of your face, and sort of almost making it look like you're squeezed in. So as long as your hair's covered, there's no reason not to expose more of your forehead, so it gives you a bigger profile, and to expose more of the side of your face as well, especially if you've spent some time doing your makeup or somebody's done your face for you. And you're going for an occasion. There's, you know, if you've done all that effort on your makeup and then you've sort of covered it there, then it's almost like a little pointless. So do pull your scarf back a little bit, just so you've got a bit more coverage on there. So I'm going to pop that on my head and then pull it down sort of around my cheekbone level there, and then fold over and just under my chin. I've got a little bit of my topi showing, but I don't mind that peeking out, so I'm going to leave it out. Now, safety pin wise, you can obviously use a standard safety pin, which is your tiny little ones with a loop, or you get the really clever ones now, which are called no snag pins. This one is one that's got like a round bulb at the end of it, and then you also get this shape here. Now, I generally buy all my hijab accessories from Woolly Range or any sort of good scarf store. I'm just going to pop that pin in under my chin, like so. Now, if you do like to create that point on your scarf, which I like to do, the easiest way to do it to make sure it stays in is just to pull the scarf fabric back just from there and make it point like that. Okay, so if you pull it back and then take a small tacking pin and just put the pin through there, that creates a nice point at the top if it is that you like a point. Now I've got a huge forehead, so I've got lots of room to play with, but if you've got a smaller one, then you want to make sure you've got enough of your forehead exposed. Okay, so we've got two sides now, both of the same length. It doesn't matter which side you bring up, it's more to do with what handed you are, I guess. So I'm going to take this section up here, just as it falls as well, so it's falling this way. So I'm just going to pop that over like so. And I'm going to put a good pin, sorry, a tacking pin into that to secure that first fold. Now you can create additional pleats if you like a pleated scarf, so that I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm just going to take some fabric just a bit further behind. And then place that behind that first pleat, like so. So I've got a second one there. I'm going to pin that one in on both sides to make sure it doesn't move out of place. One on this side too. And then we can do a third one if you want to. So that's my third pleat now. Again, pin them in on both sides. Make sure they stay in. Last thing you want is to be fiddling with it through the day, so you rather put your pins in. Make sure it's all secure before you start. Now this is going to get covered, so I've not really bothered with finishing it off too much. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this section here. Now if you look at how the scarf falls in, naturally falls with like a pleat there. That's the section I always bring across because what it does is it gives you a really nice frame around your chin and also helps you have that pin. So if I take it across from there, it won't look as pleasant as if I did it from here. Please could you show, I've just got a question, the fold again, mine is bumpy. Okay, so I'm just going to take that pin off. I'll do the last pleat again. So when you're pulling up, although this is like a double folded layer of fabric, only pull up the top layer. So the top layer and give yourself plenty of room to do that pleat. So if you're trying to do a fiddly one from here, it's going to be harder than trying to just pull this forward like so. And don't pull it too tight, like leave the volume in it and then pin it in. I hope that's helped. Just another question. Sorry, the first one you overlapped. First one I overlapped? Do you mean the first pleat there? The first one I did? I did it the same way, so I'm just going to show you on the opposite one so I don't need to redo this one. Basically, this section here, all I did with it is take it up like that. That's how we got that first pleat in there. Okay. So now to the finishing. So we're going to take this pleat across there, under the chin like so. Behind the pleats that you've got in already, you don't want to cover them up because you spent so much time doing them. And then cover all that pin work that you've done before and bring it down with this section. Okay, so that's how I'd finish it. Not like I like bits like this hanging because I just think it adds more character than just having it all the way around. But if you really don't like that sort of thing, then you can always like pleat it in and tuck it underneath the scarf and pin it to that. So then that would hide it for you, but I don't mind it because I think it adds character. So, and it's all very secure. Okay, so we're just gonna do like a side view so you can see how it looks from both sides. So that's this side. And that's this side. Is that one quite easy to do? Thank you, whoever said mashallah.
Yeah, mashallah. Make it so easy.
It really is, honestly. That one was like a really easy one. And it looks like you've done loads of work. So if you think about how much like time that actually took us, it was minutes. But we still got like quite a nice lot of detail in, and that point just gives you that whole nice frame around your face. So it's minor things like that that just help to keep your scarf a little bit more refined.
Oh, mashallah, it does look nice.
I'm going to take a quick picture because, believe it or not, I never get time to do these things. And then I'll move on to the next one.
Now, someone taking a risk is said to be chancing what limb? Next, the Bruce Welch.
Okay. Should we do a turban scarf next? Or would you like to see a full one? Any requests?
A full one, probably.
Okay, I'll do a full one. I'm going to show you my favorite one. So I started wearing a scarf 4 years ago, and it wasn't really like only 4 years ago, so I've never really worn it much before that. I probably did like wear it up and down, but never as an intentional thing. And when I went to Saudi 4 years ago, I came back and I didn't want to take it off. So basically started like experimenting with scarves and things like that because I didn't really know what I was doing. I was the sort of person that when I wore a scarf, my friends would laugh at me because it'd always be like upside down, or it'd come off, or it was just like loose or things like that. So when I started doing it, I didn't really tell anyone I was going to start wearing a scarf. I just started doing it because I didn't want to. I guess it was more about me not having like the pressure of people telling me what to do and things. I thought, let me do it my own way, and inshallah Allah will give me the hidayah to carry on with it rather than me going and tell everyone, oh, guess what, I've started wearing a scarf, because it's very much a personal journey and a very much a personal decision. Anyway, so I started wearing it, and when I started doing it, I started wearing it like this, just like that. But I didn't feel like it was me because I just felt like it was too normal for me, and there was just so much of my character to give. And I've always been really creative. And obviously with the line of work I'm in, I'm always sort of like doing sort of stylish things. So I started wearing my this style, and it's the same style every single day for like the first 2 years, just different scarves. And to be fair, I really still like doing this one because it's personal to me. So I'm going to start with I'm going to use a cotton scarf this time. Now this one's got like an edge along the side. You don't have to use one with an edge, but it will just enhance the style. That's why I've used one with an edge. Sometimes you get scarves that you get generally with like abayas and things that have like a diamante edge around it or something like that. So this is a style ideal for that. I have seen loads of requests for turbans, and I'll finish up with that one at the end. So I'll show you this one, and then I'll do a turban one in a minute. So I'm just going to show you this one. All you need to do with this is, so this is the length of the scarf. I'm going to fold it back to give it a little bit of a border. So if you can imagine me putting this next to my face like that, it's not going to be as nice as having a border next to it. So all I'm doing is folding the border back and then having it like that. So I'm just going to show you how that's done. So it kind of goes across your forehead like that, sort of a slant, gets pinned to the top of your head here, so your crown head here. So I'll do the pinning first. I'm going to put a couple of pins in because I don't really want to lose that tightness on that scarf. And then I'm going to take this section that we've got and twist that around my chin, and then bringing it back up and around the top of my head. So while you're doing this, all you've got to try and make sure is that you don't lose that pleat that you did before. Got about 3 mirrors in front of me. I don't know which one to look in. Should be looking in your one, really. Okay, so I'm going to go like that. Okay, so can you see I've got like a nice little crisscross going on there? Yeah? And I've got a crisscross going on there. I've got a little bit of my double chin, which I'm just going to pull out a bit more so it doesn't look too wonky. And fold that back. And I'm going to pin it just at the top there, like we did before. So just on the crown area. Okay, that's the hard bit done. So I've used the length of the scarf for this. I haven't used the width. I've used the length of the scarf.
Can this style only be done with a border then?
No, it can be done with a normal scarf, completely normal, like you can do it with the normal scarf. It just enhances the style. If it's got a border on it, you can really see that pleating that's going to happen. So that's why it looks nicer with a border. If you don't have a border and you're into like wearing accessories in your scarf, you could always wear something through that area as well, so that you'd get that little bit of emphasis on the style. Okay, so far all we've done is taken one corner, wrapped it around the head. So what we're going to do now is throw the rest of the fabric to the back of you. So you're literally going to have loads of fabric. If you can see, I've got so much of it left, and I'm throwing it to the back of me like so. And I'm going to spend some time to just set the front of my scarf. So all this area here, it needs to kind of look a little bit more uniform. So I'm just going to give it some pleats with my hand, just really softly, and throw the rest of it back because we don't need all that extra fabric. I think that looks right to me. I'm going to stick with that. Okay, so now all this fabric that you had behind you there, that kind of needs to go somewhere now. So what I'm going to do with that is put your hands on your shoulders like so. Pick up the bit of fabric that comes in your hand. So that will be this bit here. And then we're going to throw that over the top of your scarf like so. So just where you've done that pleating, and it's going to sit just behind there like so. Okay. And then I'm going to pop a pin into the crown of my head here, just to secure that fabric in. I don't want to be doing like too much pinning here because I like the idea of having more volume on it. So I'm just going to put that pin in here to secure it and keep that volume in there. Okay. Now once you've done that bit, you still have some fabric left. So you've got literally probably about a third of the scarf length to go yet. What we're going to do with that is bring it round under the chin. I'm going to put my hand under the chin so I know how low to go. Take it up, pop that over the top of your head, like so. Okay, going to set this to make sure it's not too heavy on the front. And that's the finished scarf. Do you like this one, guys?
Really nice, mashallah.
It's quite easy, really, right? Is anybody having a go? Is anybody watching me and happy with me? Hey?
It looks really complicated.
No, do you think so? So we use one corner, so one corner of the length, we pinned it here at the crown, took it around the face, brought it back up, and then pinned it there, right? And then we just set the front, and then whatever fell at the back, picked it up from the shoulders, threw it over, and then brought it back around again. That easy. I think you should all try it and send me a picture so I know that you've tried to go.
Can we have a look at the back, please?
Yeah, sure you can. I can't guarantee it looks perfect because I've just done it without actually checking, but
Looks all right.
yeah, I think it's all right. I think sometimes you get like little bits sticking out. I usually check it with, yeah, it's not too bad actually, still rounded.
How, you know, when you started off, did you start off with the width of the scarf or the length?
The length of the scarf.
The length, yeah, okay.
Yeah, the length of the scarf. Because you need all the length to do all that wrapping that you've done.
Yeah. If you wanted more coverage at the front, would you just bring it forward?
Yeah, so as in you mean here on your chest?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, easily. So because of the way we wrap the scarf, there is so much fabric in it. You literally can go really, really low without even having to unpin anything. So I can go as low as my chest, like so, and it is still fabric left to do. So I could still go lower. Obviously, once you've finished, just put some pins here so it doesn't keep moving around. But yeah, you've got plenty of fabric in there. And obviously, if you've got a hat on here, you can bring your hat further down as well. Should we do another one?
Please.
Just take that picture. Okay. Oh, the circle, somebody said it really suits my face shape, and I missed another one. There's a message before it. Does this style only work on cotton type scarves or about silky scarves? Oh, silky scarf. I'd probably say don't do this one with the silky one because of the level of wrapping and how many layers of silk you're going to have on your head. It probably won't stay very well. It'll probably look good for 5 minutes and then you'll be puffing with it. So I wouldn't do it with the silk one. Maybe a chiffon at a push or georgette, but not silk. I will show you how to style a silk scarf as well, though, so you've seen how they stay on, because they stay on. They just need that little bit more securing. Does anybody else hate taking the pins out?
Yes.
Literally the hardest bit. Even if the scarf, doing the scarf takes like half an hour, but taking the pins out takes about 1 hour after it. Okay, that's all gone.
All right.
I think I'll do a turban one. Yeah. Okay, so this is a silk scarf. So I'm doing turban and silk together so you can see both. This is a silk scarf. The one I've got is an ombre scarf, so it goes from like a navy blue to a light blue to silver and then back to a navy blue. I'm only doing it in this one so you can see the patterns that I put into it, because you can do this scarf style in any scarf. You can do it in silk, you can do it in satin, you can do it in cotton, you can do it in georgette or chiffon. It's just a versatile turban style. Obviously, when you're using the softer fabrics and the silkier fabrics, just secure everything tighter and make sure you've got the hat on. Okay, so what we're going to do with this one is I'm just softly ruching it with my hands to create a band. Okay, so I've not done any extra neat pleating or anything. All I've done is just ruched it with my fingers. And then I'm going to place that around my neck, like so. And then what you're going to do with that is bring one side up. Like that. Now, because I've got colours in my scarf, I'm just going to tweak it a bit so you can see all the colour in it. If you've just got one coloured scarf, it doesn't really matter. You can have it just, whatever way it falls, you can have it falling that way. Okay, so I'm bringing that back to the opposite side. And I'm just going to pin across there. So if I brought it up in a band, so I've got sort of like a couple of inches that I need to pin. So I do want to make sure I pin all the way across it. I've put quite a few pins in there to make sure that stays quite sturdy. I don't want it to come out halfway through. Okay, now the next section, so I'm going to leave that as it is for now. Do the same on the other side. So bring this up all the way across. I think we'll try and get some of the blue out from there as well, so it matches. Like so. As you can see, I've not really been too fussy about how the pleats fall, because generally when you pull it up, it falls nice anyway. When you spend too much time trying to make things neat, that's when you like end up doing too much effort and then it doesn't look right. So you'd rather just let it do what it needs to do. I don't know if it's picking up the pleats on there, but just bringing it across and pinning that to that side. So basically I've pinned that to that side, pin this one to this side, and I'm pinning it over the top of the other layer. So just on top of there, like so. If you look like a poodle, you've done it right. I'm just going to pop some rips into there as well. Now you want to make sure they're going really tight because you don't want any movement on this one. Okay, so if you look like this, you've done it right. Like you've got 2 ponytails. Okay, so that's the front of the scarf done. Now with the back of the scarf, you do want to like make sure that you cover all the back of your head and add a little bit of detail as well, because you don't want it to be just like a round bun, because that's just too easy, isn't it?
How often just that's the pins you're using? Are they tacking pins or those with a head on, you know?
No, so basically, can you see that in the...
Yeah.
No, my hand won't do it. They're literally just normal tacking pins, but they're just a little bit longer than what you would use. They're the sewing pins.
All right. Where'd you get those from then?
Mine,
Tacking pins.
say that again, Lovey.
I've got smaller tacking pins, but they take ages to put in and take out.
Yeah, they do. I mean,
Yeah.
the thing is, I buy mine, like, I buy boxes and boxes because I use it for styling. But, you know, if you go to any good hijab store, they generally have quite a few different types of ones. I mean, the ones with their heads will show up. So if you want one that doesn't show up, you're better off getting these ones that have no head at all. So any haberdashery store, or even in the market, you know, where they sell sewing things and knitting things, those sorts of stores always have the dressmaker pins.
Yeah. Okay.
And the thicker the pin, yeah, the longer ones, the thicker the pin, the stronger they're going to be. So when you put in the bin, if they're thicker, they won't bend when you put in them through the fabric.
Yeah, the little ones, it's so many you have to put.
Yeah, they are. They're not that good really, but these ones, like, they won't bend. So even if I try and bend them, they won't bend. So they're worth looking for. I think I've got these from, if I'm right, I'm not 100%. It was like a little old ladies market stall in Preston Market a little while ago. So I don't know if they're still there, but generally it's one of those haberdashery stores that sell them.
I'll have to look out for them.
No worries. And if not, Hijab Centre definitely has some. So, right. So we've got 2 bits here. What we're going to do with this is, so you've got 2 sections, and we're going to use this to cover the back of your bun. So I'm going to do it this way, and then I'll turn around to show you what I've done. So if you pin this right, like I have it, it's really tight. When you open it up, let me open it properly first so I can show you. And when you open it up, can you see it's already got pleats in it? So you don't need to do much work. So literally going to just throw it over the back of my head, and it's going to fall in these lovely pleats. Yeah, can you see that? So that sort of just gets pulled down to the bottom of your bun here, like so. And then depending on how much you've got left, like I've only got a little bit left, so I can tuck that in to the bottom of the scarf. I'm just going to tuck it in like so, and then that gets tucked into the bottom of the scarf like that. Okay, and then so I've taken this section here. So this section, we're going to do exactly the same thing. We're just going to pick it up like so, throw it over the other side. Making sure it's all covered. Don't worry about the bumpy bits, we'll sort that in a minute. And then what you do with this is, this one's a bit longer than the other side, so I'm going to wrap it into a twist and then tuck it into the bottom of the scarf. There you go, it's gone in there. You do want to put pins in there just in case it comes off later on in the day, because you don't want it that it starts falling out. So I'm just going to pop a couple of pins in at the bottom there. And then you look at yourself head on, because when you've done that sort of pleating puffy style thing, you're always going to end up with bits that look a little bit out of place. Like for example, I've got this little bump here that's going to make me look silly. This bump's going to look silly as well. So do check your scarf at the end to make sure that there's nothing sticking out too much. All you're going to do with that is just pop a pin in it, just flatten it down so there's no like sticky out bits.
Naima.
What do you want me? No.
Okay, so I
Show me
finished
how to do
that.
scarves. That's like.
We're getting somebody
Does that look
joining
like
us.
that? Does that look like that now?
Okay, so that's the scarf done. I'm just going to pop a little accessory in for you to show you how that goes in, and then I'll show you the back as well. I'm going to put a necklace in it or something like that. Actually, we'll use this. Just a little piece that I've got here. It's just kind of a sequiny flat one. I think it must have been a plique or lace thing or something from one of the sewing shops. And I'm just going to put it in just on the side there, just to finish off my scarf. Just finding a gap in it just to put a pin through, secure it into place. One more. Just there. This is where those thin small pins are quite useful, the ones you were saying before. Okay, so that's that piece there. Now I'm just going to show you the back without me seeing the back, so you're going to have to tell me if it's right. But it's literally
Perfect.
straight. It's the hair covered. So all I've done is just wrap both sections, one going left and one going right, and then wrapped it over each other. Somebody said they really like the motif because it adds lots of bling for a party or an occasion, and it does. That's why it's always nice to like add these things in, because it just makes you a little bit dressier. So when everybody else is getting like the hair and makeup and everything done, and you've covered your hair, then why not add a little accessory in just to kind of make you stand out a little bit. Okay. I'm going to do one more before we finish off. Go on, do we want a turban one or a fully wrapped one? Let's see what you come up with. Send me a message or just shout.
Turban, please.
Fully wrapped one. Fully wrapped one.
Turban, fully wrapped, turban. Two
Fully
turbans,
wrapped.
one fully wrapped, one fully wrapped.
Fully wrapped.
Neck and neck, fully wrapped. Fully wrapped. I think we're going with fully wrapped. Let's do it. Fully wrapped. Everybody said fully wrapped. You've had the turban, whoever wanted a turban. Let me just get all these pins out. Oh, somebody's excited to see me.
Sorry, that's my little one.
No, I'm glad. She's entertaining us. Have you guys all had a good day today? Has anybody done anything nice or done anything exciting? Anything good happened to you today?
No, just a standard day.
Standard day. Everybody's had a standard day. Standard Wednesday.
It's a cake.
Has anybody made anything really nice for their dinner?
Yeah, that'll gosh me.
Oh, nothing wrong with that. One of my favourites.
Lasagna today.
Oh, that sounds good. You know what? I made all, because I knew I was training, I made all the dinner and everything early. I thought it was really organised. And then my son's like, Mummy, I really want to eat fish. I'm like, oh no, please, can we make it another day? He's like, no, I'm going to make it myself. You can't let teenagers loose in the kitchen, can you? So I had to help him do all that. Then I did new potatoes with it and carrots and stuff, and I've left it. So hopefully somebody will remember to put it all in the oven. Yeah, otherwise we'll be eating very late. But they like a really lightly seasoned fish rather than anything with masala on. So I've just done that. And I love making that, so it was easy. Can't find all my pens. I think it's coming off now. See how secure that was? It's not coming off for anything, that one. Where did you get this hijab from? This one's actually one that I sell because I do masterclasses in scarf styling and hijab styling, makeup styling, things like that. So every year in the winter, unfortunately, apart from this year, I go out to like lots of different towns and cities and I do my classes there. So last year I was reminiscing all this because it came up in my memories on my phone. But we did Dewsbury, Bolton, Preston, Leicester, London, and there was one more, obviously Blackburn, yeah, somewhere the one at the studio. So I do all those classes. So whatever scarf styles I teach, the scarf I use, people always want that scarf. So I started stocking them. So I've got quite a few in stock now. But unfortunately this year I couldn't run any classes. So I've got so many scarves just sat here, hoping to get sorted next year maybe now. Right, we're going to do a fully wrapped style and, oh, I know which one I'm going to teach you. Let's get the right scarf out for this one.
Third disruption when the Brexit transition period ends on December the 31st.
Yeah, you can enroll anytime. Somebody just said they need to enroll. At the moment, I'm only doing like 1-to-1 classes or 2-to-1 classes because of the social distancing measures. But when the master classes are back up, I will be doing a lot more, inshallah. Right, let's show you this one. You're going to love this one. It's so easy and it's so easy to do and you're going to love it. Right, I've picked a scarf that's got a different colour at the end only because I'm just going to do something a bit creative. And when on camera, if I do everything in black, it's really hard for you to see. So I try and pick scarves that are easier for you to work with. You don't have to use a scarf like this. I'm just showing you so that you can see it on camera. Right, so I'm going half and half. Somebody's asked me how much the classes are. It just depends which one you do. So I've got different ones. If you do a personal one, it's a little bit more. If you're joining into a bigger class, it's a bit less. Better to just like message me directly. So if you're on Instagram, if you message me on Foundations by Hawa, I'll be able to give you a bit more of an idea of how much it is. And at the moment they're like really reasonable because I know everybody's sort of struggling quite a lot, so I brought the prices down loads so that it's a bit more accessible to a lot more people. Okay, so I've got this scarf. I've got half and half on either side. And I'm just going to create the frame around my face like so. And bring it down and pin underneath my neck. This time when I'm pinning, I'm just leaving a little bit of an extra gap. So I'm not pinning very tightly. Like literally this nice little gap underneath there. Because I'm going to need that afterwards. We're not doing it right stuck in there.
How about, do you not find that the pins spoil the scarf sometimes? You know that.
Yeah, they do. But you know these ones that I was saying, the no snag pins.
Yeah.
Because they don't have, let me show you, I don't know if you've seen these before, because they don't have that loop at the end, the one that we usually have.
Yeah.
Your scarf doesn't get stuck in it. So let me just show you the difference. You know how normal safety pins have that big loop at the end?
Yeah, they do, yeah.
Well, this one doesn't, so there's nothing for it to get twisted in.
Yeah.
So these ones are okay, but you do get holes where you've put your pins in for like styling. But sometimes they iron out. And to be fair, now scarves are getting quite inexpensive. Like they're getting more accessible.
Yeah.
Like you can actually like buy them for. I'm actually 100% sure that when I went to buy scarves for the first time, they were £2 each, and they were like this type cotton ones, and you can get loads and all the colours under the sun. So they are more accessible now. And you get all those designery ones that cost a bit more, but I think the cotton ones are still quite easy to get hold of.
Yeah.
Right, so we've got half and half here. Now we just need to get rid of one side of it for now because we don't need it. So I'm just going to flap this one away because I don't need that side. I'm going to use this side. So you've brought it down like this after a pin. So you'll have an inner edge. So this edge here is your inner edge, isn't it? Okay, so this one. What you need to do, and this is the bit that's a bit strange, is you need to take it from underneath the other bit of your scarf towards your ear and pop it out through there. So this bit here, and it gets popped out in there, like so. Okay, so all I'm doing with that now is I'm just pulling it to take a little bit more fabric until I feel I've got enough length to go till about here. So I'm going to pin it to the crown of my head here. So I just need to keep pulling until I've got enough fabric to do that. So I think that's probably going to be enough there. Okay. So what you're doing with that is you just softly rouge it with your fingers like this. I'm doing it slow motion so you can see it. And then you're going to bring that across your forehead like so. Okay, so I brought it across my forehead. I like to cover my forehead a bit more because mine's huge. So I'm bringing it further down. You can do it higher if you want to. And then pinning this on this side of your head. I'm just putting 2 pins in, one from the top, one from the bottom, just to really secure that in place. That's not going anywhere now. Okay, so when you're tucking it in here, just make sure you've not got too much fabric out. The only scarf fabric that this won't work in is something really thick. So if you've got a really thick scarf fabric, then this style won't work, because if you can imagine, you'll have a lot of fabric here that's going to stick out. After I've done this bit, I do generally put pin across it to make sure it stays flat all day as well, because you don't want it to start sticking out through the day. Okay, so now I'm going to use the other side. So we've used that side up already. It went up, went underneath, and then it came out through there. And then this side, just going to bring it across the chin underneath. Now when you're doing this bit, ladies, if you've got quite a square jawline and you feel like it's quite sort of heavy on this side, you can bring it across a bit more, so it creates more of a, let me just show you, creates more of a point, so you get a really nice sort of like triangular chin. If you've got excess skin underneath here, which I'm going to call a double chin, then you can wear it like underneath so that it covers everything. So even if you do have excess fabric, it will just help excess skin. It will just help to sort of cover that area up, so it'll just help to make your face feel a bit slimmer if you're worried about that. That's one of the questions I get from a lot of ladies. I'm going to take that across there, and now it goes up and covers that point there where we've took that across. Once you've done that, pin that into place. And just set the front. So however much coverage you want. So if you want to go quite low, you can go quite low. And set the one underneath it as well. Can you see why I did it in a 2-color scarf? Because I wanted you to be able to see how it looks with all the pleating. Now the great thing about this scarf is because you've got this really nice expanse of fabric here, it's literally just like a plain triangle. You've got so much room to put an accessory in. So if you are going to a wedding or an occasion or a party, chance would be a fine thing right now. But if you are going anywhere, you're just dressing up to sit at home, it's a really nice gap for you to pick things up. So I've got this piece here, which is like a floral scarf piece, and I can sit that just there where that finishes if I want to just finish it off. Popping some pins through it just to keep it in place. And that's that one finished as well. I'll just show you from the side.
Lovely, mashallah. Yeah, looks lovely on you.
Do you like that one?
Yeah.
That one's quite easy, isn't it? Do you think that's
Yeah,
easy, guys?
Yes, I think it's
I think
easy.
so. Have a go at that one at home. The only thing that was different, if you think about it, is I did a fold. I put a pin in, but I left a gap. And then I took one side, and instead of just taking the side over the top, I took it from underneath. So I did that, and then it pokes out through your ear. So just try and remember that it's going to go from your ear. When you're putting it in as well, just make sure the fabric is like more towards your ear rather than down here, because you know you can end up like having it like that, and it doesn't look right. So you just need to tuck it in, and then have it coming out from under you, around your ear. Yeah. Somebody's just said to make it look really easy. It is easy, that's why. It is easy. Let's take this one off. Okay. Done. Has anybody got any questions? Anything you want to ask me?
You know when you secure it on your shoulder, is that with pins or?
Well, I do mine with tacking pins because I don't like having to go underneath with the safety pin and pinning it to my clothes. So I just do it with a tacking pin over the top. Yeah, it's much easier. And it's so important to do it as well, because if you don't, it moves around a lot and you don't know where this is going to end up. Especially if you're like up and down.
If you don't touch it.
Yeah, and if you're up and down with kids like most of us are, then it's kind of hard to like look prim and proper all the time. So if it's pinned in, at least you don't have to worry about exposing anything.
Oh, mashallah, it was really good. You did a
Oh,
good job.
good. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Really good job.
Got so many messages. Let me see. I've not read half of them. I should read them, right? Where did you get this? I think I've answered that one. Make it look so easy. Very stylish with the border. Mashallah, really suits you. No, just compliments. No questions. Jazakallah.
What's the simple one to do every day, would you say? Oh, you know, a really basic one for every day.
The first one I did. Do you think that one was simple, or do you think that one was hard?
I don't know how long it'd take.
Okay, I'll show you the simplest one. I'll show you the one that everybody generally does all the time. This is the one I do anyway. I never have time to style my scarf. Mine just gets thrown on. Okay, so put it over your head. Let me just put that one first. So you've just popped it over your head, half and half. Okay. When you're folding in, this is just a point that I'll just make. A lot of people fold the scarves in halves when they start. And I don't know why we do that, because you're depriving yourself of half the fabric. So just use the whole length of it and only fold a little bit in to give you that nice neat edge, rather than folding in half, because when you fold it in half, you've taken the width away. Chances are you're going to expose your neck, and also you're depriving yourself of half the fabric, so you can't style as much because you don't have enough fabric left. So do this one. Fold it down to your cheekbone, still there. Fold this in. The simplest ones are the best ones. It's all about that, really, isn't it? And then pop the pin in underneath there, like so. And then just have one dripped on your shoulder like that, and then have the other one just casually thrown across like that. That's the best way to wear a scarf, seriously. It literally always looks good. It looks effortless, it looks modest, it looks chic, and it just adds like just the right finishing touch to all the outfits like that. That's it. I don't think
it looks really nice.
This is it. You don't need to do anything extra. It's so quick, and it still looks like, you know, you spent some time doing it.
So is that a tacking pin?
It's just a tacking pin there, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if you've got a dobby, it'll stay on, and this is a chiffon one, so the chiffon ones always stay on really well because they have a tiny little bit of friction in the fabric, so they stay on really well.
Okay. Also, do you know, in this pandemic, with wearing the masks everywhere that you go, do you normally put your mask on first underneath?
Yeah, so generally what I do is, I'll tell you how I wear it. So before I've started doing my scarf, I wear my mask from underneath. So I put it around my ears, but I wear it in my chin. So my mask is usually sitting in here, and then I just pull it up and then pull it down again. And if you want to do it with this, obviously you can. It's not the easiest thing to do, because sometimes, like, if you want to take it off, it's a bit harder, but you can just go like that. The other way. You can just go like that and then pin this around the back. A lot of people do that because it's just easier for them. So you just pin it like that. So rather than wearing a mask, you're just doing it with your scarf.
Right. It's just a real hassle these days.
I know, tell me about it. The other thing you can do, which is what I've been doing recently, is, you know, you get those, it's like a neck jersey tube. Has anybody seen it? It's like a jersey tube for your neck. I don't have it here because it's in the car, but basically it's just like, it's like a jersey band, what your jersey scarves are made of. You wear it around your neck like a muffler, and basically if you've got that on already from underneath and you've got your scarf on, you can just pull it out from underneath and cover your mouth with it. It's so much easier. I think I got mine from what's that new shop called with all the homeware stuff? Home Bargains. They had them. And they were like a couple of quid, but it's just like literally goes around your neck like a band, and then you just pull it up. I find it easier than wearing a mask. Are we all good, ladies?
Yeah, thank you so much.
The question.
That's really good.
Yeah, it does keep you warm. That's it. It's called a snud. See, somebody knows the right words for everything. It's called a snud. But yeah, they're quite good because they just keep everything tucked in. But no, Jazakallah, it's been a pleasure. I really enjoyed doing these classes every time I come online with you guys, because you're get a lot from it, and I appreciate the fact that you take your time out to watch me. Hope it's been enjoyable for you.
Oh, thank you, Jazakallah.
No worries, Jazakallah. Allah Hafiz, Allah Hafiz. Bye.
Thank you very much.
No worries, it's been a pleasure.